Hey everybody, welcome back to Web Components in Space. This is episode 4, but I actually haven't been exploring anything new for this episode. See, the problem is that in the last episode, our web component drawing, who used to be over here, it broke down. We were trying to create this amazing component with TensorFlow.js for post capture. It was a little too complicated for the poor guy, and it broke down, big billows of smoke. So unfortunately, it's in the basement now, wherever the basement is. I know we're orbiting around and it's rotating because we're in a space lab, but I don't think I want to try building anything real cutting edge today without its help. So yeah, it's a good time to take a break from all this coding. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do for yourself. Lately, when I'm taking a break, I like to play a little music here. So I used to play a lot a while ago when I was in a band, but you know what? It dropped off as I got busy with, well, life, my career, speaking at conferences, all that stuff. So I was busy, but I'm excited to come back to it now. Now I'm definitely a little rusty with it, and frankly, I don't even know if I was ever that amazing to begin with. So of course, to play, you have to practice. And curse my web developer brain, because I started thinking of apps that I could build to help practice the keyboard here. It's almost embarrassing how quick I am to build something when I'm really just trying to relax and escape from code, but here we are. Let me show you what I've been building. It's called B#. Yeah, it is a pun, but it's also up online right now. It's bsharp.app. So there's two modes to using this thing. The first is a sort of quiz or flashcard mode. So let's try that out right now. It's going to tell me what chords to play, and I play them. I also have another mode where you play a set of chords in a sequence, and it'll mark you wrong if you stray from the notes in the chord. And I had to add a song editing mode as well, because I want to play real songs, I want to practice real songs, so I can author my own songs, and it'll check as I'm playing if I'm playing the right notes. But check this out. When we're in this mode and we start playing, a nice little metronome kicks in. It goes tick, 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 tick. That's courtesy of a nice little library called Tone.js. I shouldn't call it a nice little library. It's actually been amazing. It's kind of a big library too, I feel like. It's been around for ages. It also powers the sound of the virtual keyboard here. So if you don't have access to a real keyboard, you can press these keys with a mouse button, and it'll make a sound. And by the way, this virtual keyboard, it's a web component I grabbed from NPM. It's pretty handy, and it does everything I want. So I guess the only real experimental tech in here is using this real keyboard through MIDI, or the acronym stands for the Musical Instrument Digital Interface, and it's been around since the 70s, 80s, but it's only experimental because Chrome and Edge are the only browsers that support it. So I am looking at you, Firefox and Safari, because this stuff is really cool. Anyway, it's been in Chrome since version 43, and I guess I recently learned you can use it through a Firefox add-on, but I'm thinking we'll probably never see it supported anywhere else other than Chrome and Edge, unfortunately, so yeah, it's a bummer. Hey everybody, so check it out. I am somewhat embarrassed because I predicted wrong, and it hit me in the face while I was recording this episode. Firefox actually does support Web MIDI now. It's amazing. It was just in the past week as I was recording this. Who'd have thought? I predicted wrongly that they would never support it, but I guess it was just some security concerns, and they got over that. So now it's just, I guess we're looking at Safari. Safari, get on this. Web MIDI is cool. But one last thing that is cool and supported, I think, everywhere, is live microphone tone recognition. So this has been in our browser for ages, too. I can sing a note, and it recognizes it.
La, 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 la.
It's using the Web Audio API, and like I said, this has been around in our browser for ages. It analyzes the FFT, or that's the fast Fourier transform, of the audio that you're singing, and it can use that to detect the pitch. So no question, this is all pretty cool stuff, but honestly, what's it got to do with web components? This is all audio stuff, and I am a strong believer that if it's just audio, you don't see the component or the visual on the screen, what's the point in making it a web component? Why bother? So what's the web component tech here that we're covering today? Well, we're building this app with Lit and web components. That's cool, but we've already built an app together the same way. I don't want to rehash what we've done before, but we can talk about one aspect of how this is all coming together. And it's one aspect that I've been excited about for a while, ever since I first started using it, and that is reactive controllers new to Lit version 2. So I definitely went overboard in this project using reactive controllers. I'll show some of the Lit docs in the next segment on using them, but the Lit team shows these being used for things that they complement individual components. So we normally have reactive properties, but these are your own properties that you define and you update. What if it's coming from somewhere else? And the Lit team, their documentation shows, what if it's coming from a mouse, the mouse position? There's a lot of boilerplate code you could have in there to manually update your template, but using a reactive controller is a lot more elegant. All that logic is shoved to the side, so you can worry about your properties in the template. So I'm excited about that. Me though, in this project, I'm loving using them for big global models. I like to have a kind of singleton that manages incoming MIDI or notes sung into a microphone. These singletons are reactive controllers, but unlike the docs I've seen from the Lit team, I like to add multiple Lit element hosts to them. And then when you hit a new key on your keyboard or sing a new note, we update all those Lit components with the new notes from this kind of singleton or global class. So, reactive controllers, I think you can tell by how excited I am. They're very cool. This practice app is the first one where I've been using them, but I can honestly see replacing patterns I've long used. Like where I have data models and use a global event bus to message out events just for updating properties, and then you have to call request update to make sure your template gets re-rendered. Not anymore. Instead, I can just trigger Lit to re-render from a central place. It's really nice. So also, in addition to reactive controllers, you'll notice that I've attempted to design and style the application a bit. So I'm not using any component libraries here. I did all the UI myself. In the first episode, we used Adobe Spectrum Web Components. It's a great little library, but this time around, I want to do everything myself just to learn. And plus, I want to have a different design, break away from Adobe's Spectrum design. So instead, I'm just making some common style files that I can import as CSS modules. So it's what I really have. It's a very, very, very tiny and limited design system for this application. So yeah, I wouldn't ship this design system. I'm just using it for this one application, but there's some interesting CSS tidbits to talk about here. And this is why we'll be talking to Cassandra Roberts today. She is writing a book all about CSS in web components, dealing with style. The book should be out soon, and I'm glad we're talking to her to get a little teaser about what's in the book before she releases it. And then I hope we'll all buy it, because that's how this works. So that's what we're doing today. As much as I miss our web component not with us right now, I think this will be a pretty interesting episode. So I'm excited to practice some music and show you how some things are built. So let's go. I'm going to show you all about the technologies we're using in the next